All right, this enough for that crunk battle music. You guys know how it goes right here. There's war, the god of war. It is war out there, man. It's chaos now. Hey, we finna get this thing going one way or another. This your brother from another mother. I don't look like Danny Glover, but I keep it cool for you guys. I got a special guest, as always. The guy always dropping knowledge. Everybody out here think, and I mean think, that he's one-sided on a player, but that's not the case nor the scenario. But I'm gonna let him speak for himself. He got a mouth. Go ahead, AKOYE.
Hey, what's going on, Law? How you doing, man? Appreciate you having me back. And you 100% right, man. Like we all have our picks. You know, we all have players that we hold dear. And I respect any player that really bleeds blue. You know, I respect Witten. I respected Romo when he was here. I actually respect Dak, but now people think that I give him a bad rap or I don't like the kid because he has the pressure of Tony Romo. Like, I just look at him as the guy who took Tony Romo's shoes, you know, sort of like Bow Wow in that Like Mike movie. Once you're wearing the shoes, you're wearing the shoes. You know what I mean? So now you wear that crown and you have to you know, show and prove. So I just give him that pressure, and I don't think you can coddle a quarterback or any player to greatness, you know. So you give him that opposition, sort of like, you know, Howard Cosell Ali. You know, you give him the opposition so that he rises to the occasion and does what he has to do. And fans are definitely going to take me personal when I speak on him, but it's not a one-sided thing. Like, I just said my farewells this morning to Dez in a farewell highlight video, and now, you know, all eyes are forward, and my mind is on the draft and this upcoming season. So, you know, I definitely understand it. And you know, you and I, we didn't agree all the time when it comes to Dez Bryant, but I think one thing we do agree on is that we want passionate players that bleed blue and that want to win. And, you know, whatever side of that coin you fall on, you can't be too far off.
Yes, indeed. So, hey, it's a tale of two coins. I met Mark Holmes because of the fact of Dak Prescott. He was out there saying that Dak Prescott needed to start before Tony Romo was injured. And I was saying, I was on the Tony Romo side, and I was like, no, let's get this Tony Romo thing going. And then what happened all together collectively is that Tony Romo got his back snapped up like a pretzel, you know. And I said, well, damn, you know, he can't stay healthy. And then that's when I really started looking at Dak Prescott from a different view. And then when we start, and then preseason, you know, I trusted what my eyes said. I didn't trust what everybody else was saying. I trusted what my eyes were saying. You know what I mean? And I saw a gamer. I saw a guy that was controlling the field, a leader of men. I saw somebody can say, oh yeah, he's a Tim Tebow with a better arm. And I was sitting there saying to myself, you know what? He's a gamer. I saw him because I'm from Mississippi, and I saw him elevate Mississippi State. And everybody was running around saying the Hell State. And then since then, I'm sitting here saying, this guy's the plan. But outside of that, I really want to know the nitty gritty of things. I really want to know the deep heart and soul and mind of your thoughts. What the hell we going to do now without Dez Bryant? That's the main question I want to know. I
mean, this is something we could have did with Dez as well, but you know, now we don't have him, so we'll have to improvise. But when people say like Irvin said, you know, does the moves we made make us better at this point? And you know, that's a question mark. And in order to answer that, it's really going to be a prove it year, like Vach always says, for, you know, Garrett, for Linehan, and for Dak, because of the move they made this offseason. They have to show improve. So I think you're going to see a drastically different offensive scheme run this year. And watching Dak, what I see and the things that play into his strengths, you know, he's not as great from the pocket as you would want him to be. And I think that was more so post the Atlanta game, because he was seeing ghosts all year after that. So I think keeping a pocket comfortable for Dak means having a moving pocket. So a lot of bootlegs, a lot of play actions, a lot of misdirection style plays work for Dak, because he likes a clear line of sight so that he can get through his progressions, or the receivers are now cascading towards him because he's rolling out. So he doesn't have much to read when he's rolling out. He knows exactly what he's looking at. So I think putting him in positions like that will make him better, and also running more RPO. Now I wouldn't load up with the RPO, because as you know, the way to stop it is just hit the quarterback.
Right.
And although we're not paying Dak that much right now, you still don't want people just teeing off on the kid this early, because as you can see, just like Brady does, and some quarterbacks can take a hit and keep coming, like a Favre. Some quarterbacks get flustered when they get hit, and Brady is one of the best in the business to ever do it. And some people call him the best to ever do it. And you see what happens when he gets hit. He looks mediocre. So, you know, Dak is one of those guys that just has to have a shorter memory, you know, sort of like a cornerback. He has to have a shorter memory so that when he's getting teed off on, he can get his head back into the game and or at least game by game get his head back into the game, so that he's not seeing ghosts out there. And I think keeping him into easy read type plays initially will help him a lot. And that all is going to feed off of Zeke, man. The RPO feeds off Zeke and Smith and AKOYE, and so does the play action game. So you'll see a lot of that. And I think if we don't, then, you know, I don't know. Like, that's where it's going to be a question mark for me. I think if you're a good coach, in my opinion, you have to put your players in position to do what they do best, not necessarily what you want them to be able to do best, but what they do best. So putting Dak in positions where he's running that RPO, he gets that, well, you know, he gets that free read in the RPO. Once he's about to hand off to Zeke, he doesn't really have to pay attention to that defensive end. He knows that he's going to stay home because of Zeke. So he gets a free read to his first progression every time he runs RPO. So that's actually good for Dak. You don't want to load it up all day, because that will make him a pistol / shotgun style quarterback. And in the future, that will limit him, because he needs to learn how to play from under center and how to get his footwork down. That's one thing. And then another thing that I heard, I think two players are actually talking about this, but Dak's talking about coming in lighter, because he was 215 in the combine. And he was a lot leaner than he was last year. I think last year he looked more like Donovan McNabb as far as body type. And the year before, he was a lot leaner. He looked like, you know, the Terminator. So I think him coming down in weight will help him with his footwork and help him with his release as well. He'll get through his footwork and his progressions a lot quicker. And also, on top of that, you see Irving's talking the same thing. Irving was experimenting with his weight as well. That's the second player I was talking about. Right, but they were both talking about that this week. But
with that being said, let me know, guys, if y'all got echo, because I get an echo. Are you listening in from the YouTube, or are you listening through the?
No, I have my YouTube muted, but I have YouTube open. You want me to close the YouTube?
No. You good. You can keep it open. All right. So it went away. The thing is, what I want to see from you is the throwing motion. You mentioned on your last breakdown his throwing motion, whereas he have a wide elbow. And we do know that gives people a beat on the ball. He also have broad shoulders. And, you know, most of the time, believe it or not, guys, having broad shoulders with a quarterback is really not that great. You want to have – you really pretty much – you throw – it's just like you and I talked about boxing briefly. And you box with your legs. People think it's the arm power. If you look at Mayweather, although he's ripped, he's not a big guy. No, he fights with his power come from his legs. So that's the same notion that you have to pass with the ball. You pass with the ball with your legs. And see
Dak tries to pass with his upper body. He tries to use his hips, his shoulders, and his power in his arm. He thinks that you can get the throwing motion. And I'm not going to speak for him, but it looks like he works out a lot. So his throwing motion is not going to come from the weight room. His throwing power is not going to come from the weight room. It's going to come from just his technical skills and keeping his technique down. He floats his right foot out a lot, and he bends his knees. And when he bends his knees before